Hey, what's up? It's That Weekend Warrior, and in this video I'm going to go over some items in my collection that I completely forgot that I had. Just so you know, I've been collecting toys, video games, records, etc. off and on my entire life. A lot of the stuff that I have is from my childhood, and yes, it did survive, mainly in part to my parents. You could say that they were saving it for me. You could also say maybe it was borderline hoarding, but we're not going to talk about that piece. Many of these items have been in boxes or tubs and in storage for many, many years. So over the last 20 years since moving to Florida, little by little things from my parents' home has been coming to me. And
make a long story short.
Okay. Went on a rant. Long story short is never short, right? It's my favorite South Park episode. Anyway, let's get started. The Noid. Oh my gosh, this character was so hilarious to me as a kid. I mean, it's a deranged dude in a bunny suit that's out to destroy your pizza, right? So in the commercials, they're all claymation, which at the time, there was not a lot of that, but I mean, as a kid, I was like, holy cow, this is incredible. And I love these commercials. They're a lot of fun. And of course, it made you want to eat pizza. But his whole premise was I'm going to destroy your pizza. I'm going to make it cold, or I'm going to squish the box where the cheese sticks and everything. This was their whole marketing thing. Well, at that time, they also were releasing, because it was so popular, a series of PVC figures. And so as you ordered a pizza, you could, pay extra, that's what I remember, and get one of these figures. So constantly asking my parents, can we order Domino's? Can we order Domino's? And, when you call them, ask them if they have the next figure. I have this one. So, essentially my dad's trying to put in a pizza order, but he's also trying to say hey, my kid has this one figure. Do you have the other one? I forgot about these. I remember the Noid, but I completely forgot I had these figures. And like I said, I got a box out of storage and there was a little tub in it. I opened it up and then these figures are in there and I'm geeking out oh my gosh, it's the Noid. And my wife just gave me this crazy look what? So yeah, these were a lot of fun. I don't know if anyone collects these or whatever, but just finding them again and going down the rabbit hole and showing the commercials to my wife and kids was rad. So yeah, the Noid. Okay, first off, I'm gonna go on record saying that Gremlins probably isn't a kid's movie. I know for a fact I was way too young to see it, but this is before we had the PG-13 rating and everything, right? And I saw this movie as a kid. I loved it. I was terrified of it. Had nightmares because of Stripe and the Gremlins coming to get me. But Gizmo is one of the cutest things on this earth. And at the height of its popularity, you could buy plush, you could buy action figures, different toys, that has Gizmo and Stripe and all the Gremlins in it. But also, Hardee's did a series of book and records. Yes, you could buy a book and it came with a record that you could play along with it. I don't remember necessarily getting these. I do remember listening to them and really enjoying them as a kid. And I completely forgot about them. Some years ago, I bought a case to store a bunch of my 7-inch records in. And I must have put these in there, and it's been years and just completely spaced on them. And so when I was trying to change how we were displaying our vinyl and everything, I discovered these, and I was like, oh my gosh, I completely forgot about them. And they're so cool. And it also led me down a rabbit hole of I want to buy more book and records. But these things are fantastic. This is some great memories I have as a kid and everything is listening to the book and record. So, yeah, Gremlins is awesome. I love it. Not a kid's movie, but it's an awesome movie. I'm what you would call a casual anime watcher. I don't watch a lot of it. I'm very, very particular about what I watch, but back in the 90s, the Sci-Fi Channel used to do a series called Saturday Anime. And that was my first time watching any anime that I can remember. And the first movie I saw was Vampire Hunter D. Around that time, also, Final Fantasy VII had come out. And so anything that was either anime or Final Fantasy related, I wanted more and more of it. Fast forward a few years, I go into a Suncoast Video and I'm looking through their VHS that they have available for anime, and I stumbled across this. It's called Legend of the Crystals Final Fantasy. So these movies are absolutely outrageous and quirky and campy and fun and adventurous, all the things you expect out of an anime, right? It's supposed to take place sometime after the events of Final Fantasy V. I don't really remember. I haven't played that game in years. But at the time, it was something I didn't know existed, and I loved it, and I had a lot of fun with it. I hadn't seen these in years. I recently was going through a box labeled VHS, because we were trying to find some of my wife's VHS, and found these. I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen these in so long. I tried to find and see if there was some way to watch them online, and I did find that someone has put these up on YouTube you can watch. I'll link it in the description. But yeah, prior to Spirits Within and Advent Children, there was Final Fantasy Legend of the Crystals. Alright, so I'm going to deviate from the topic for just a moment, where everything so far that I've been showing has been things that I have, but I had forgotten that I have, to something that I know I had, but I have no idea where they went. A couple years ago, I started collecting again, and I was at a local shop here in Orlando called Echo Base Collectibles. And as I was looking through his Ninja Turtle stuff, towards the bottom of like one of the cases, I saw one of the Ninja Turtle badges from the Burger King Kids Club. If you don't remember, back in the late 80s, early 90s, somewhere around that period, Burger King Kids Club did Ninja Turtle badges. As a kid, you just want the kids' meal and you want to get the toy, even though they're not really toys. They just have suction cups and they stick to things. Well, once I found this one in particular, here is in the half shell, I was like, well, I should probably collect the rest. So over the course of the last couple of years, I've been trying to find them. And about a year or so ago, a good friend of mine texted me and he was like, hey, do you have this one? He sends me a picture. It's the Donatello one. I'm like, no. So cool. I've recollected them and now I know I have them, but I have no idea where the originals went. But yeah, they were fun. I was so excited that I found these. About 9 years ago, I was doing this kind of declutter your life situation where I was looking at a bunch of stuff and I'm like, I don't need this and I'm going to throw them out. And I thought I had gotten rid of all of my Nintendo Powers, my Game Pros, and my hint guides. I was collecting all those for years. And I was one of those kids, very fortunate that my parents got me subscriptions to Nintendo Power and to Game Pro when they kind of started. So I was, again, dropping off some decorations in storage this past Christmas, and I saw a box and it was just labeled books. Okay, so I slid it out and I opened it up and my jaw dropped. I almost cried, not gonna lie, almost cried. And I saw Nintendo Power looking at me and I thought they were all gone. And when I got home and started going through all of them, what I didn't know that I had, like I knew I was early on into the subscriptions, but what I didn't know that I had actually are the premiere issues. Flipping through these again, it's just, it brings back all those feels and everything like that. Like there's something about the physical media for me, especially like that, it doesn't compare like to looking at on an iPad or a tablet or just looking at a website. Just the art and all the time and the attention to detail they did to these. But yeah, I had no idea that I had the premiere issues, let alone even still had them. So I am still holding out hope that somewhere in the void of my storage unit, there is another box labeled books that I can dig through and find more. All right, and that's it. What are some things that you have in your collection that you forgot that you had? Also, what are some things that maybe you had, but you have no idea where they went? Please leave those in the comments below. I really appreciate all those that are watching. Please subscribe, click the bell to be notified when I drop new content. And until next time, take care.